Cola, Deep in the View, album review. Let's chat about it. Hey guys, what's going on? John here from What's Spinning, here tonight to chat about this new debut album from Cola. This is Tim Darcy and Ben Stidworthy of Ought fame, as well as Evan Cartwright on drums. These are names in modern post-punk and art punk that you should know by now. As a matter of fact, Ought for a while was one of my favorite new faces in post-punk. If you haven't listened to More Than Any Other Day and Sun Coming Down and consider yourself a modern art punk and post-punk fan, definitely go and listen to it. Now, by the time they got to their third album, Room Inside a World, I thought the band was slowing down a little bit. They needed to refresh. They ended up breaking up a couple of years back, and I've been really curious ever since to see what the members would do, just because I really love Tim Darcy's delivery most of the time, his lyrics as well, his very manic performances, which leads me to this debut album from this new band, Cola, and for the most part, it's pretty cool. Blank Curtain starts this album off, and wow, this is awesome. It is dark, it is tense, it is more rooted in the golden era of post-punk than ever, but it's done so well. It's crunchy, it's neurotic, it's also just catchy enough. And I love the slower pace here as well. Here we see Tim and company really taking things back to basics, refocusing and getting back in the groove. Yes, please. Then we have So Excited. This track is really good too. It's a little bit more upbeat. We get this much more intense instrumental. It's very frantic, but at the same time, Tim's delivery on this track is a little bit lower. It's a little bit more intense. I mean, you could certainly call this television or Joy Division worship, and to an extent, you would certainly be right. But Cola do a great job of updating this sound, bringing in their own unique twist to it with a very intricate instrumental, as well as some very intense lyrics, very anxious lyrics. For me, this is very exciting, at pace as well. Once again, a little bit more on the upbeat side of things, but I love just how hypnotizing, so meditative the verses are on here. The repeated lyrics here aren't annoying, they actually make things much more memorable. It's really punchy too. Now, I will say this is very different from the music of Ought. But I will say this, while this is the first release under the Cola name, they sound like they've been doing this for years. Degree is a little bit more on the artsy side. I really love that though. It almost reminds me of like early days Interpol. The lyrics here are super visual. Tim's performance, once again, is very intense. I love him as a frontman. But it is also a little bit breezier at the same time. If you're looking for, a place to jump into this album, if you're not familiar with any of these guys' music, this may be a good diving in point. There is some room for improvement, though, especially because this is their first project together. Like Met Resistance, this one's a little off. I mean, this whole album is very tense, very paranoid, very anxious. But this is the first time on the album that I've thought things were a little stiff, maybe a little too stiff. Also, some of these vocals are easily some of my least favorite here. It makes me think that while a lot of the fundamentals are certainly on this album, Colas definitely still have room to grow. There's nothing wrong with that, though. I have a lot of the same feelings on Water Table. I'm not too crazy about this track, and the fact that it's easily one of the longer tracks here makes it tough. Compared to other tracks here, this to me sounds a lot less original. Like I said, this is clearly a band, this is clearly some guys as well. They're just very influenced by the golden age of post-punk and art punk. And a lot of this album is them taking that and putting their own unique spin on it, which is always something I love. But this just sounds like a cover off of a compilation or like a one-off single. It's not really good. It sounds like they're also trying too hard, which is something that I haven't said this entire album. It also doesn't progress much either. And I know there's a lot of hype on Fulton Park, but I'm not feeling it. I mean, this track doesn't sit still for a second. It's almost got, like a sort of swing vibe to it in this riff. It's very animated and easily the most colorful track here. But this instrumental seems a little out of place and I'm just not vibing on it. So clearly, I think Cola still have some room to grow, some maturation to still get with their sound. Don't write this project off, though. There's a lot to really like here. Gossamer is really great. This track is a freaking jam, man. It's got a great hypnotic riff. I love Tom. It's got a great hypnotic guitar riff as well as Tim's most visual performance here, and that's saying something. It's so simple, but it's so effective. And if you're not into modern art punk or post-punk, this probably isn't going to be the album to win you over. But it packs a punch. It's got a great jagged instrumental. It's just easy to get lost in. And Mint late in the album is the upbeat jam that I needed right now. It's got a really streamlined riff as well as some incredibly melodramatic vocals, but I love that. Like, they practically fuse with this riff here. That's how good it is. It's just got a real punch to it. This is, just like I said, these guys getting refocused and remembering what they, initially set out to do. And I love that by the end of this track, it's just falling apart right in front of us, just becoming this noisy, cacophonous, I don't know, it's awesome. And Landers as a finale is certainly going to be a very divisive track. It is easily the artsiest track here. But I think that's a good thing. These lyrics are easily the most anxious here. It's all about the tension on this track. It's so easy to dive deep into these lyrics and these vocal performances. That, alongside with just how weird and off-kilter and unexpected this instrumental is, it's actually a really great finale. It's odd for sure, but it definitely had me glued to my seat. Yeah, there's a lot to like here. I mean, you know the musicians, you know what they're capable of. This is them getting refocused and pushing out some really great post-punk and art punk. And no, it's not as, consistent as I was hoping that it would be. I was expecting something even better than this, to be honest, but truthfully, they have room to grow. The material here is really sharp. If you're a fan of post-punk or art punk from any generation, give this a shot. I'm feeling a decent 7 on this album, but let me know what you guys think down below. If you like the video, be sure to give us a like, give us a subscribe, and let me know down below what you would like for me to chat about in the future. And until next time, have a great day, guys.